Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Wixo Season 2. We are now on episode 16 of the series, and in the last episode we saw quite a lot of events all over the place. We saw a civil war over here in Shanghai, leading to 3 new kingdoms emerging out of the ruins. We saw the expansion of the Indus country, now officially forming themselves the status of a very strong regional power over here in India. We saw a new religion form in South India, which has very quickly spread around and it is becoming very popular. And we spoke about how there is corruption emerging in Moldova. If you guys do end up enjoying this episode, please do be sure to like, subscribe, and leave any ideas down in the comments below. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. So we are actually going to be starting off with seeing quite a few new countries form up. So over the past few years, the world's population has increased a lot, and this has come along with a couple of things. First of all, technology is really booming. We are in the very end of the kind of BC times in terms of technology, and also a lot of countries have been kind of forming up into regional big powers, and this is allowing them to sustain more people because they have more food, more infrastructure and everything. And we're really seeing this in 2 distinct places. Northern India with the new Indus country. This country has formed up, it is really strong, stable, and it is housing a lot of people. And also Moldova, who has really asserted control over the Balkans and Turkey. Due to this, we're seeing larger food production, more trade, and in turn more people. And this is causing a lot of regional tribes to begin to expand, and cities form up in these tribes, causing them to form up their own countries. And this is really seen in Northern Asia and Eastern India / like kind of the Bengal area. So we have this reddish brown Bengali country go ahead and form up over here. We have this dark green one go ahead and form over here. We have this pretty large light blue one go ahead and form up over here. And pretty immediately as well, we also have some of these other Indian countries expand pretty quickly. And essentially these just form out of cities that have recently become a lot more populated. And this has allowed them to kind of centralize and develop new technologies and stuff. We also have a light purple country go ahead and form up right above the border of the green Indian one. And in Northern Asia, we already kind of did see this a little bit in the last episode with this brown country forming, but this is going to continue. We have a blue country forming in Eastern Manchuria, as well as gaining some land on the coast. And we have this pink one form up nearby to the original brown one over here. So yeah, we are seeing a lot more countries go ahead and form. But now, I am just going to change these guys' colour to a dark blue-green. I think it looks a bit nicer. And yeah, so we are seeing a lot more countries pop up all over the place in this Asian sort of area. But sticking in this place, we are going to be seeing the expansion of a certain country, and it's actually going to be Shandong. These guys recently got out of the civil war in Shanghai, and they came out of it pretty decently, and they are looking to expand to gain more power, as their end goal is to reunite Shanghai under their control. So we have them beginning their expansionist efforts up here in the north. They begin to establish many more forts and also fight back a lot of the tribes over here that have kind of, they kind of curbed the original Shanghai expansion into this northern area, but these guys have developed since then, and because of this, they have the ability to expand into this area. And we also have them going to war with the red team over here, the red-pink country, whatever. They're interested in gaining some land out of these guys, and also this country is rather weak, and they haven't really done too much, so they quickly move in, and they are able to push these guys much further back, and they're able to seize a lot of this southern land. This is a pretty big win for them. Taking a look at our daily Japan update, we're going to be seeing a little bit of a breakaway state actually go ahead and form, as we have some of these northern areas break away from the main Japanese country. Anyway, taking a small break from events actually on the map, we are now going to be taking a look at our new power rankings. I actually haven't done power rankings in a little bit, so I think it's probably about time to do them now. But at number 1, it's going to be Moldova. Pretty obvious there. These guys are really strong, have recently formed up an empire, And yeah, they are doing pretty well. At 2, it is going to be the Indus country. These guys have formed themselves up a really nice empire, and they also have recently just surpassed Shanghai as Shanghai collapsed as the most populous country in the world. They have the largest population, just a little bit ahead of Moldova, who has the second most people. And number 3 is going to be Italy. These guys are an extremely consolidated, powerful, and long-lasting country. They are the most stable country on the map. They are doing extremely well at keeping themselves together. They have kind of just consolidated early on and managed to stay in their region, which is very impressive, as most other areas around the Mediterranean have been involved in a lot of wars and border changes, but these guys have been very stable. At number 4 is going to be Burma. This spot would have gone to Shanghai, but yeah, we can probably say why not. At number 5 is going to be Azerbaijan. These guys are very strong, and they have been kind of establishing themselves recently. We also did see them invade this small country, I believe, in the last episode. At number 6 is going to be Spain. These guys are very strong. They have been working to build themselves up, and they also have a lot of trade on the Mediterranean. At number 7, right behind them, is going to be Normandy. These guys, also very strong country. At number 8 is going to be Belgium, another strong country, but also they have a lot of colonial possessions, and they are just doing very well for themselves. At number 9 is going to be Taiwan, and at number 10 is going to be Shandong. These guys are the strongest country that came out of Shanghai. But yeah, these are our new power rankings for this episode. Anyway, next up, we actually do need to move over to Moldova, because there are very few things we need to talk about here. As I mentioned pretty heavily in the last episode, there has been a lot of corruption spreading in this country. And the country, in terms of its development of its army, has been stagnating. This was very much shown by the fact that Moldova, who is substantially stronger than Azerbaijan, was not able to, construct a full defeat of them during their war, their second war between them and the Triangle Alliance. Even though they did see victory, Azerbaijan not only managed to hold its weight, but also gain land beyond its previous borders, partially out of where Trebizond used to be, and also a little bit out of occupied land in Lebanon. But at this point, it has really gotten very bad, and the Senate is kind of struggling to continue to develop. Moldova is facing many issues, and the people are unhappy, as it's very evident that there is a lot of corruption going on. And it is seen by the people that a restructuring of Moldova needs to take place. Now, while this isn't entirely correct, really what they need to do is stamp out the corruption. But yeah, overall, Moldova is struggling a little bit. And the people are thinking of maybe we need a new way to structure this government, because they obviously can see the corruption. And something is about to happen that will heavily further this idea in the people, and it will be causing something pretty major soon. And that is, Azerbaijan actually launches a surprise invasion into Moldova. Now, you may be thinking, oh well, Moldova's the strongest country in the world, and, surely they'll be able to easily defeat this. What even is Azerbaijan thinking? However, as it will be showcased here, Moldova is really going to struggle. Their army has not been developed, like I said before, since the Hellenic Wars, and the corruption, more focus is being spent on things that the corrupt officials want than on defense, and Azerbaijan takes huge advantage of this to launch this invasion in. And Moldova really, really struggles to fight this. What Azerbaijan has done, which is very clever, they have looked into literally everything about the Moldovan army formation, and they have formulated every possible tactic to kind of counter everything that Moldova can do with its armies. And this allows, even with numerical advantages, Azerbaijani strategy is able to push Moldova back. And it gets so bad that we even have the Azerbaijani troops reach any of the populated cities down here, and it's really not looking too good. However, then we have something happen. We have a general who is already pretty popular. He was somewhat involved in the previous war against Azerbaijan. He was very young then, but he's a bit older now. His name is Valentin Dalsa, and he is a very good strategist, and he sees that, the biggest problem for them right now, not only with the corruption, which has kind of, led to some things here. But the army formation, he strategizes his own brand new army formation on his own without the blessing of the chancellors in Moldova and the Moldovan Senate, and this army absolutely slaps Azerbaijan around. The new formation, as well as his leadership, causes a huge encirclement to take place as they overwhelm the Azerbaijani forces, and he just blitzes through, and he is able to clear a path directly into Azerbaijan. He captures several of the Mesopotamian cities, and he starts one of his most legendary campaigns, which is known as the Mesopotamian Conquest. He quickly moves in and spreads his army around. This causes heavy disorganization in the south, pushing these Azerbaijani forces back. In the north, Azerbaijan has to pull forces back to deal with this. However, none of the Moldovan soldiers up here really manage to make any gains, as they are using the old armies that Azerbaijan has developed counter-strategies against. Valentin is able to push his forces further down south before reaching the heavily populated areas of Mesopotamia, and this is where this advance begins to slow and eventually halts. Now, despite this, the only reason this is really happening is because he is not gaining enough support from the Moldovan Chancellery and Senate. If he did, he would be able to keep going. And, well, the Moldovan Chancellery and Senate is kind of mad that they're being put in a bad light by Valentin, so they don't support him enough as he should be, because they are kind of worried that we're kind of unpopular at the minute, we don't really want this guy to do some funky stuff. But either way, this causes his front lines to stagnate and eventually slow down. In the north, we have a slight pushback by kind of both sides, and eventually these front lines begin to stalemate, and we can take a look at a bit of, it's not really a peace treaty, it is essentially just a ceasefire here. So this is what we see take place here. So in the north, Azerbaijan gains a bit of land, but they lose a heavy amount in the south, and you probably would think that Valentin, for his efforts and his superior strategy, is praised. But no, the Moldovan chancellors, all three of them are jealous of him, and essentially they basically are like, okay, well, I mean, if you think you're so good, go up north, you can go to Crimea to fight off some of the bordering tribes. So he is essentially relegated to the generals that are holding down the border of Crimea so that the Ukrainian tribes can't invade, which is seen as an insult. Like the generals that are all up here, they've put up here due to failure. It's a very big loss of honor to be put up here. But the people really like him, and they are really annoyed at the chancellery for doing this. So they begin to kind of support this guy, and he comes up with a pretty bold plan, which we will have to discuss later. Anyway, over in Spain, we finally have the rest of this area be fully divided up by the countries, looking something like this. Now, as you may know, there is a little bit of a kind of divide in Spain. These two countries over here, these are the native Iberian tribes that have consolidated to form up their own countries, but Spain is a settler colonial country that originates from Greece, and this causes a little bit of a kind of cultural divide, and overall it doesn't really sit too well that these guys now border a country that does not really like them, but we'll have to see if this leads to anything in the future. Anyway, over here, Normandy decides that it's going to try and get into a war, and it goes to war with Green South France because it really wants Mediterranean coastal access. So it launches an invasion in, immediately sieges this city, and it also launches a second army towards the capital. It's able to actually capture the capital, and they commit some not very nice atrocities, and they also siege some land in the north before South France goes ahead and surrenders. And this is our peace treaty here, pretty simple. They just go ahead and gain some land out of this country. Over in the Balkans, Italy expands just a tad bit, but once again they are struggling a little against some of the Balkan tribes, so this expansion is somewhat limited. And up in Hungary, these guys haven't done anything in ages. We have the blue Hungarian country launch an invasion into the pink one, and they are able to quickly move in. This country has recently gone through a little bit of civil turmoil, and they are doing pretty badly because of it. Now, with Hungary finally being reunited, these guys expand a little bit, and they also form a border up here with Moldova, which they probably don't like too much. Over in India, the Indus country, who expanded quite a lot in the last episode, is going to continue on with their conquest, launching an invasion into Nepal. And, well, I mean, obviously this is going to go really well. They really quickly invade in and take this land. So yeah, this is what we see here. The main core areas are taken into the country, and we have a small area over here be converted into a vassal of India. And after this, we have them continue to go ahead and expand into the central region, and pretty immediately they now border this green country that is fairly new, and these guys are a little bit worried about that. Oh, over here, we have a little bit more expansion and a kind of division of this remaining Bangladesh sort of areas, with these two countries gaining a little bit of land respectively. We also have this light blue country expand into the kind of Chinese areas over here, and they establish a city as well. Probably a couple more, but this is a kind of major one. And in the south, we have the purple South Indian country continue to go ahead and expand, and overall just expansion all over the place here. Over in the Americas, we have more and more expansion of California, but now that a lot of the East Coast tribes have been introduced to this sort of technology, we actually have one of them forming up into their own civilization, and that is going to be this one up here in Oregon slash Washington area. And these guys are just the tribe that now, kind of has this sort of technology and access to another country, so that is why this forms. It's very small and weak, but I guess it exists at least. We have the red East Coast country expand up to the Great Lakes and just continue on the coast. And these guys are really gaining strength. They have been gaining quite a lot of population because they are big and consolidated and haven't been involved in any wars. However, they are getting quite large, and it is getting a little bit tricky to run this country. They also decide to move their capital over to this city, which has recently become their most populated city. And it's kind of more in the center. That is kind of why it's the most populated city now. But yeah, so we have a little bit of kind of reconfiguration of the governing body. I mean, these guys are a republic, so yeah, each kind of area has its own control. Anyway, over in the Yucatan, unfortunately for Mississippi, yeah, this is not going to last very much longer. Over the last couple of episodes, they have slowly been kicked out of this area due to the fact that they are falling behind in terms of military, scientific, and technological development. And now is the final straw. We have a surprise invasion by Belize, supported by the purple country down here, launch an invasion into the remainder of Yucatan, and they finally are able to fully reclaim all of their lands. The remaining blue religion people flee because they don't want to live under Mexico, and we have any remaining peoples. It wouldn't be the same people that were green religion when it first got invaded, because that was like probably 200 years ago now. But we have any people's descendants of the original green religion people up here who were secretly in hiding the green religion officially convert back to it, and we have almost all of the peoples up here once again be green religion, with only two small minority pockets remaining. And that's really not good for Mississippi, and it's as we will cover in the following episodes, it's gonna be a little bit worse than them just losing this land. We have a bit more of this be explored until eventually all of it is, which probably would have already happened, to be fair. And this also comes along with Grey Vietnam expanding further inland, as well as the Cambodian country down here doing much of the same. We have this Indonesian country over here in Java continue to expand, as well as a new one forming up down here. But yeah, these guys also go ahead and form up. We also have this light yellow one form up on the coast of this newly discovered island, and their capital will be down here in the south. Just going to make them a bit lighter because it's kind of hard to see what's going on. Over here we have Taiwan expand a little bit further north. They have, they recovered from the plague fully a while ago, but they are now finally moving and conquering these tribes once again. They did take a little bit of a break from this, but they are back at it. And we also have the brown country up here expand further north. Anyway, now moving back over to Ukraine, we are going to once again take a look at what Valentin is doing. And he has just launched a very interesting campaign that, spoiler alert, is going to be changing the course of Moldova in many different ways. And what is this? Well, He is very confident in his ability to win battles and gain land. He has seen that the front lines up here have really stagnated as they have struggled to conquer the Ukrainian tribes, who are very consolidated in this area. It's actually the most consolidated area in the whole world that isn't actually an official country. But essentially, all of this area is kind of united as one movement, and they don't like Moldova a lot. And he is thinking, okay, the current government in Moldova is very unpopular, and they clearly, they're trying to push me away because they are worried that, the people will like me more than them because of how much success I was able to do against Azerbaijan. I need to win over the people, and I'm going to do that by conquering Ukraine. A very ambitious goal, but he thinks he can do it. Essentially, he rallies up all of the generals and the forces who are on this line. These generals are all in support of him, and they're siding with him, and he is going to go on the conquest of Ukraine. Now, most of the settlements are up the Dnieper River, so that is his main goal, and he launches his first campaign. He quickly moves up and conquers many of these settlements on the Dnieper River, and he is extremely successful. His new tactics, as well as his own army development, allows him to do extremely well, and before anyone even knows it, he has conquered all of the main areas of the Dnieper River, which is extremely impressive. His second campaign is down here, and he is able to invade all of the tribes up to this river, kind of formulating a proper border. And this comes along with him conquering many of the leftover central areas over here, which he is also able to do. And the people are looking at this like, wow, that's really impressive. And the three chancellors are like, uh-oh, well, we're not very popular right now, and this guy's like slapping the Ukrainian tribes around, and the people are in a lot of support of this guy. We have him then continue to move on in, conquering the remaining areas of this western Ukrainian area. His conquest, which was very quick, was extremely successful, and just like that, he has absolutely demolished Ukraine. And well, let's just say the Roman Chancellery and Senate is not very happy about this. He has made it very public that he is not in support of the current government. He has really called out a lot of the corruption in Moldova, and due to this, as well as his extremely successful campaign, the Moldovan Chancellery and Senate eventually decides to order Valentin to return to the capital of Moldova as a private citizen, as they are extremely unhappy with his actions, as they are very jealous and everything. However, Valentin, who has gained an enormous amount of wealth from raiding and invading all of these Ukrainian tribes, as well as gaining the support of all of the troops up here. These guys really love him. And on top of that, a lot of the citizenry in Moldova supporting him, seeing him as better than the Chancellery and current Senate. He is going to go ahead and refuse this ultimatum, as, like I have just listed, he has these things which he believes, will allow him to not do this. And because of this, essentially, they call him an outlaw, basically, and they call for his arrest. And, let's just say he's not going to take too kindly to this. After amassing his army, and, formulating a plan and everything, as well as, discussing things with his generals, he decides to break away from Moldova in an attempt to overthrow the Moldovan Chancellery. The three Moldovan chancellors, he sees them as weak, and they are unpopular with the people, as we have all of the northern Ukrainian areas breaking away in support of Valentin. And, this causes Moldova to freak out. Moldova has no idea what to do. The government is unpopular, and the soldiers who were rallied by Valentin during his invasion of Mesopotamia, they see that these guys are jealous of him, and essentially we have a lot of the Moldovan troops either refusing to fight for them or actually fleeing and deserting up here to join Valentin's cause. And he is going to launch his campaign to invade Moldova, as he is going to cross the Dniester River. As he launches his invasion in, he manages to immediately capture this major city, and with this invasion taking place, alarms go off in the capital of Moldova. This is the biggest threat that Moldova has had to face since the Second Hellenic War, And the threat is now not even an outside threat, it is their own, because, these guys are Moldovan. This advance quickly continues on, and they also make a second crossing of the river down here, capturing another city, and, well, let's just say they do something here that causes them to lose almost all remaining support from the rest of their army, and a lot of support from the people. And this is as Valentin moves down to the capital of Moldova, instead of fighting to defend it, they do something extremely cowardly, and they leave the capital city of Moldova to fall to Valentin. And, well, pretty unsurprisingly, his arrival in the city is met with cheers from the people. He is welcomed as a hero, and, well, he is not stopping here, as he plans to overthrow the entire Moldovan Republic. And with people not in support of the current, way that Moldova's republic is being run, as well as, like I have mentioned, probably too many times now, the army is in support of Valentin. We have him and his troops just flooding down into the south. We have two of the chancellors actually get captured during the siege of this city, and the third chancellor, well, he flees to Carthage, so yeah, rip. We have Valentin's forces reach Constantinople, capture the city, and this leads the gateway to the Levant and Turkey open, where he just, well, he floods in. We have the regional ruler of the Trebizond vassal declare his support for Valentin and join his cause, and this is great, as this is, well, that's one other place he doesn't have to invade into. Egypt takes a bit of a different proposal to this, and they break away, so, I mean, well, that's not great for the Moldovan Republic. This guy, well, the person who's ruling is kind of like a dictator, quickly moves in and takes over Sinai, but the Moldovan Republic, they have bigger fish to fry, as we have a flooding campaign storm through the Balkans. Valentin is going absolutely crazy here. He quickly reaches and takes over all of Thrace. Right now he is in this front line. He's kind of letting his other generals focus on northern Turkey. He fought in the Constantinople battle though. And he quickly, well, this area kind of just falls over to him. He doesn't even have to invade it, but he does have to invade Greece. He launches an invasion down into the Hellenic Peninsula, and the Crete puppet state that stayed loyal to the Moldovan Republic has to be invaded as well. He launches a naval campaign over to the coast over here so that he can fight with his other troops, and he launches an invasion into the remainder of the Cretan states. And while you might think, oh, surely Azerbaijan is going to join in on this war as well, they remember what Valentin did to them last time, and they don't want to fight another war with him, where this time he will have the full support from the country. Last time with even just his own army, he did this, and who knows what he can do with this. So Azerbaijan decides to stay out of it, probably a smart move. But Valentin storms through the Anatolian Peninsula. We have a huge breakaway around the Lebanese area in support of him take place, and with this, the final areas of the Moldovan Republic are pushed into around the Israel/Palestine area, and along with Egypt, these troops fall. And, well, if you thought that Egypt was going to get away with this, you would be mistaken, as we have Valentin launch his invasion into Egypt, absolutely blast the northern Nile areas, and cause the almost immediate capitulation of the country. And just like that, the Moldovan Republic has been destroyed, and Valentin has officially established his control over the Moldovan country. And we can now go ahead and take a look at what happens next. So this is what we see take place in Moldova. So the Cretan puppet state is dissolved, and it is incorporated into Moldova proper, and the Egyptian state is destroyed, and a new puppet state is formed down here in the south. And in terms of looking at the ideologies layer, of course, the Moldovan Republic is demolished, and Valentin is named by the people and the new and improved Senate that, well, he kind of just controls the Senate now. He is named as Chancellor for life, which essentially turns Moldova into a dictatorship. So yeah, just like that, Moldova has been completely changed, and we will have to see what happens here with Valentin in the next episode, because that is going to be it for this episode. I really hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope I will see you guys in the next one.